Hey guys, it's Schwasty. So the gameplay you're looking at on screen at the moment is my gameplay with the P90. So for this week's playtest I wanted to try out the P90. It's an SMG personal defense weapon that I'd never actually used before, so I had 0 kills with it going in. And overall I was pleasantly surprised with how I did with it. It's not quite as good as the Chris Vector. I don't think any close range weapon is at the moment, but it definitely has its niche. It's a very good get around the flanks and clear out enemies as quick as possible kind of guns. I think the damage output is a little bit weak when you get beyond 50 meters. It can take quite a few rounds to actually drop an opponent, but you are also quite accurate. Earlier in the week I did mess around with the P90 in the firing range just so I wasn't going in completely blind and I knew which attachments were worth my time. So let's go into the firing range here. For this loadout I'm using the red dot sight, I'm using the DGN 308 on the barrel. Realistically any of the barrel attachments kind of do the job, there's not a whole lot of variety between them. The DGN 308 just seemed to be the most accurate for me. The tactical barrel which I normally use wasn't great in this situation. And for the side rail I'm not using anything, and for the magazine I started using the Quick A as soon as I unlocked it. It's also worth mentioning that I've gone with a medium mobility setup, because this will greatly help out when I'm going on those long flanks. This does of course make your character move around slower, but I find in the 1v1 engagements it's worth the trade-off. Comparing this weapon to the Chris Vector, it does have a very slightly slower time to kill, coming in at 0.225 milliseconds as opposed to 0.200 milliseconds on the Chris Vector. That said, even at 0.225 milliseconds, it's still got a very fast time to kill compared to a lot of the other weapons, so you can still be quite aggressive with this loadout. You do have 50 rounds per magazine as standard, and you're coming in with a slower fire rate of 800 rounds per minute as opposed to the Chris Vector's 1200 rounds per minute, so that's something definitely to take into the equation before you run in. So while the P90 is an overall fantastic weapon, I couldn't help but feel I could have done better if I had just used a different weapon. I mean, look, I understand the P90 is a personal defense weapon, it's not an assault rifle, but there are situations where I felt, oh, I wish I had had an assault rifle for this engagement. And then there were other times when I'm running around clearing out a building and I wish I'd had a Chris Vector instead. The Chris Vector is just living in my head fucking rent free, and I just can't get it out of there. The cheap whore's weapon that can break a 20. I sort of wish I didn't depend on it to do well, but that's just exactly the kind of gun it is. It's just so unbalanced at the moment. It almost feels like I'm penalising myself if I use anything else. The Chris Vector is more like the valedictorian straight-A student, and the P90 is the kid that got B's all the time. Probably the best way you can describe the P90 is if you've ever gone to the pub on a cold winter's night and you go and you get a bag of chips after, and they smell really good and they're not bad, but then you open them and you go to inhale and they haven't put enough vinegar on the chips. And you just kind of felt disappointed that it could have been better. That's my relationship with the P90. I mean, I'm still going to have the chips, but they could have been better. I might save them till I go home and put vinegar on them myself. Now, come here, stop, go away. If any of you are actually wondering what I'm talking about when I say a bag of chips after a night out in the pub, in Australia, they're hot chips, and in America, they're fries. But not like those skinny little shoestring fries. I'm talking like actual chips, and you put like salt and vinegar on them and you put them in a bag and you can get a batter burger or a batter sausage with it and then a can of Coke. And I tell you, when it's -5 degrees outside and you've just come out of the pub and it's absolutely fucking freezing, that is the best thing that you can have in the world. How fast was I talking there? It's something that I have to be mindful of when I'm at work and I'm talking to people on the phone. And they're like, oh, sorry, mate, can you say that again? And I'm like, and they can't understand me. I did also try out the suppressor short, which is the only suppressor that the P90 comes with, and just something about it doesn't sit right with me. I know putting suppressor on decreases the velocity, so you've got to lead your targets a little bit more at medium range, but I don't know, it's up close, it just felt like it was weaker, and it didn't sit right with me. There's other SMGs like the MP5 that you could use the suppressor on, where you'll be a lot more effective. Then again, there's not really a strong incentive to use the suppressor on any weapon, because you know, anybody with 2 fucking brain cells and a headset can hear you behind them firing with a suppressor, so I don't feel having a suppressor in this game actually leads to those amazing opportunities where your enemy just has 2 brain cells and the hearing of a geriatric who dropped a hearing aid in the toilet. So most of the time I'd prefer just to use like the tactical barrel, or in this case the DGN308. I find that that doesn't drop the damage off as much and you're just overall more consistent with it. I did get a couple of good clips here and there with the P90 where I'm dropping 3 or 4 people in a go. I did say last week I didn't think I'd be able to do that. And I guess while I do have the P90 to thank for putting me in that situation, I honestly think a lot of it was just down to good positioning and a bit of luck. It's not like the clips were amazing and solely down to the P90. I probably could have done them with the Chris, the MP5, the FAL, you know. I don't think the P90 excelled in any particular way. But sure, look it. The P90... it's a fun gun to use. It's not absolutely amazing. It is up there in terms of meta weapons, but I don't think it quite crosses the ground. It doesn't do anything on its own that another weapon couldn't do. It's not quite as good at medium range as some of the assault rifles, obviously. And up close, the Chris Vector just trumps it. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. I wish it wasn't, and I wish they'd patch it, but that's the way it is at the moment. So there we have it, lads. The P90, good weapon, but it lacks the vinegar. It just doesn't feel quite as punchy as I would like it to. And honestly, that's a bit of a shame. I would love for the P90 to be slightly better than it is, because it's such an iconic Stargate fucking mad weapon. It's so futuristic looking compared to even a lot of the other stuff in the game, and I would love to be able to use it a little bit more. But I just can't scratch the inkling feeling that there are better weapons out there. And while I did have fun with the P90 for the first like 3 or 4 matches that I used it in, I dropped it as soon as I hit rank 94 because I've just unlocked the Groza. And let me tell you something, the Groza is like if they took the damage of the AK-74 with a heavy barrel and just smushed it all together so that you've got a faster movement speed. The Groza is fantastic. I've got some really good gameplay with that and it'll be coming up in a future video, so get subscribed. It's actually scientifically proven that watching my videos at least twice a week will lower your blood pressure. So if you care about your health, you'll like this video. Tell me what you think of it down in the comments below. Anyway, lads, that's pretty much all I have for today. I'm going to be slowing down the schedule a little bit just because I'm away for the next week. But like your estranged father that you only see every couple of weekends on that Christmas, I promise I'll make it up to you. Anyway, as always, guys, if you liked the video, I'd appreciate a little like. And if you even feel extra sexy, you can comment down below and let me know, what do you think of the P90? Am I being a bit too harsh on it? Should I give it a second chance in a couple of weeks when I'm back? Maybe you've got another weapon that you think I should be using instead. Let me know down below. Anyway, that's all for now. Expect another video in the next few days, and I'll see you guys again soon. Take care. Take me to your leader.
Yeah. I'm taking you.
Hang on, this is one of those deals where you could, like, guys, take me down a back alley and have your way with me, right? Help! Help! Help!
No! Shut the fuck up!
Help!
Shut the
Help!
fuck up!
I do not consent! I do not consent! I am a prisoner of war!
Shut up or you die.
I'm dying anyway.
Good.
Alright, well, I'm bleeding out, so you're gonna have to
go?
get into necrophilia now if you want to have a bit of action, because I am not consenting to this shit.
Honestly, any...